How's everybody doing today? How was your Friday? Happy Friday, everyone. You guys have a wonderful day. End of the work week for most of us. Some of you might have to work this weekend. What's going on? How are you guys doing? What are you guys' thoughts on the recent episode of Obi Wan? It's hard to believe that we are at that halfway point. Yes, we are at that part where we're yes, that's right, halfway there. And so let's just
This is where the fun begins. This is where the fun begins.
That's right. This is where the fun begins. So if you're in the chat, I typed in the link at the top of I pinned the link at the top of the chat. Feel free to join me. Let's talk about this. Let's have this an open discussion. Let's just see who we can get in, who wants to join, who wants to share their thoughts. I know I have my thoughts, but let's have this very nice. I'm going to do a recap, and then we're just going to talk about this as we go. So feel free to join in. Yes, we are here. And let's see. Come on in. Let's go. Let's see what we can do here. All right. So far, let's see. How is everybody doing today? Let's see what we can. Come on, join in. If you're in the chat, knock yourself out. Let's do this. Like I said earlier, we are at that point where the Obi Wan Kenobi show. Yes, halfway there. How's that? I mean, it's hard to believe. 3 episodes in, 3 more to go. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited? Are you guys concerned? Any concerns? What are you guys feeling? Anyone out there? What do you think so far of the Obi Wan Kenobi? We're going to talk about part 3 in greater detail, but I want you. Come on, join the chat. Let's talk. Feel free. Knock yourself out. Your opinions matter. I'm just waiting a little bit of time, giving people some time if they want to join. Let's see what we can do. Let's have some fun. And let's see. So let's just begin. So I'm going to be giving my brief recap. Well, I'm going to give my initial thoughts as to the show. Now, personally, I did like the show. It was better than part 2. Not going to lie. This was great. We got to finally see Vader. Yes, Vader finally shows up. So the episode, part 3, we see that Obi-Wan is in his ship. He's in meditation. He's trying to call out to Qui-Gon. He has not yet reached out to Qui-Gon because that's part of his training that Yoda had for him, to reach out to Qui-Gon. And he's saying, give me strength. And as he's calling out to Qui-Gon, he's hearing some flashbacks, not only from Reva, from saying, oh, he's alive, and from Yoda, and Qui-Gon himself, and even from Anakin. Yes, Obi-Wan has got some major issues. He's just discovered that his apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, who turned into Darth Vader, is still alive, and he is coming for him. So He says, he's coming, Master. Again, he's calling out to Qui-Gon. He's saying, I'm coming. He's coming, Master. Give me strength. Then we see what is an awesome scene here. We see Vader being put together while he's in the Bacta tank. And these are assembled by assembly droids that Vader that because no one can see Vader when his suit is off. So he's being put together by the droids. Then we flash over to Vader. He's on his throne. He's on Mustafar, where his little burn incident happened, and he's talking to Reva on the holocron. He's or voice chat or video chat, or whatever, call it whatever. I don't care. Yes, he's talking to Reva. He's saying, good things will happen to you, but don't fail me or there will be consequences. And of course, everybody knows that if you fail Vader, he will put you to death. Yes, failure is not an option in Vader's eyes. Now we're seeing Obi-Wan as he's trying to reach out to Qui-Gon. He's also working on Leia's little droid, Lola. And Leia asks him, well, what is the Force like? Can't we use the Force to make this go faster? And he's like, that's not how the Force works. And she's like, well, what's the Force like? And so Vader really puts it simple for, a kid to understand. He says, are you afraid of the dark? What happens when you turn the lights on? She says, I feel safe. And she says, well, that's how the Force works. And we can see that this is actually going to play out throughout this episode, that Obi-Wan, he can't turn that light on. That Force, he cannot work. It's not working for him, sadly. So they arrive on this planet Mapuzo, and they have to sneak off the ship. We see an R5 droid, but it's not the one that's in Star Wars. With when Luke and Owen went to buy C-3PO and R2-D2 on Tatooine, but it's a different type of R5 droid because it was a little different. It was a different tint of red. That's what I noticed. That was my observation. So they sneak their way off the ship because that's a cargo ship and passengers are not allowed to be on the ship. So they make their way to the rendezvous point to where they're trying to meet whoever Naja from the previous episode gave the coordinates to, who he got the coordinates from. He said, go to these coordinates and someone will meet you there. Well, on their way to that rendezvous point, Anakin has a hallucination. Here he sees Anakin fully cloaked in his wardrobe as a Sith, but without the suit. And so he knows that Anakin can sense his presence, and he can sense Anakin's presence as well. Next we see Reva making her way to the Inquisitor Fortress, and she's discussing Vader's plan, what to do. She wants what he wants them to do. She says we need to send out Imperial probes to Mapuzo to locate Obi Wan Kenobi. Fifth Brother's a little reluctant with it. He feels she's overstepping her bounds. He's using the Force on her. He's holding her down with the Force almost to the table. And he's saying, remember where your place is, or something to that effect. Yes, he's trying to establish his authority right there. But Reva insists She has them send out the probes. She said this is Vader's orders, so that's what they do. Now, next scene we see, they're at their meeting place. Obi-Wan goes over the plan with Leia. He says to tell her that they are farmers from Tal, which is a nearby village on that planet there. He says that he's her father, she's his daughter. So it appears that no one was at the rendezvous point. So they feel Obi-Wan thinks that it's a setup, that whoever was supposed to meet him, that these plans were not right, or this was a setup. Leia sees this transport ship, so she flags it down. And as they board, Obi-Wan sees an Imperial design, but it's not a custom-made one. It's a one that was made by the freight driver whose name is Freck. They're talking to Freck, and he's the type of individual that loves the Empire, I should say. He loves the Imperial rule. He says that order is necessary. Sometimes we need a little order. As they're riding into town, they pick up some more stormtroopers. They say there's rumors of a Jedi, and Obi-Wan is like, okay, I've never seen a Jedi around here. What's going on? And the stormtroopers say, oh, we'll find him. We always do. Now they're talking their story, and Obi-Wan almost slips up his story. Obi-Wan actually talks to Leia. He says, Leia, when he was supposed to call her Luma, the stormtroopers, that raises a major red flag. They're saying, I thought you said her name was Luma. And he says, well, she reminds me of her mother named Leia. And so Obi-Wan, for the time being, he saves face, but they're still a little suspicious. The Freck himself is also suspicious as well. So they drop off the troopers at their place before they go into town. Leia then figures it out. Obi-Wan knew her real mom, and so she asked, are you my father? And Obi-Wan replies with, I wish. And then Obi-Wan gives a little bit of his own backstory. He talks about how he was taken away as a young child to be trained in the ways of the Force, and he talked about remembering his mom and his father and and that he had a younger brother. But he also said that, well, the Jedi are also like family. They became my new family. And so he's giving Leia some reassurance that, well, this is my family. So they arrive at this gate. There's more troopers there. And again, Freck is suspicious. They have them step out of the freight, or out of the ship, and then an Imperial probe approaches. And then that's when Obi-Wan shoots the probe, and then there's the gunfight. We see Obi-Wan fighting off the stormtroopers. We see him shooting one at the top of at the guard point. That the stormtrooper falls onto the laser gate. He gets cut in half. And one of the troopers has Leia. He says, drop your weapon. And so Obi-Wan's getting ready to, but then he makes a fire. He shoots at the stormtrooper just barely above Leia's head. and they escape. Well, as in Star Wars, when you take out stormtroopers, there just seems to be too many. There's more stormtroopers show up with an Imperial officers, but this Imperial officer, however, shoots these stormtroopers. In fact, so it turns out that this person, that this Imperial officer lady, is the one to take this, is the one that was supposed to meet up with them. And we'll get to her story in a little bit. However, because Obi-Wan shot and destroyed the Imperial probe, even without it detecting, without sending a signal, the Inquisitors discovered Obi-Wan's location, and they're still quarreling among the Inquisitors, especially with Reva and the fifth brother. So this spy, whose actually name is Tala, she told Obi-Wan, well, I got the coordinates, but the probes got in the way. So again, that's reasonable enough to think that, okay, that's nice. Okay, that's a good reason. And then we see another tender moment with Leia here. She's saying she misses home. She's homesick. She wishes she never ran away. Obi-Wan has to reassure her that it was not her fault, and that he said that I will get you to your family. So they get into town, led by Tala. Tala has to sneak them into this droid maintenance, which is a hideout, and they're met by this droid called Ned B. Now this is what is called the safe house for those who are trying to get away from the Empire. And basically what it is that they send these to different areas throughout the galaxy, safe places, and they give them new identities and new lives, so they don't have to be hunted by the Empire, especially those who are force sensitive, and even more important, force sensitive children. And so Obi-Wan discovers a bunch of writings on the wall, and these are, former people who Tala and other people who have helped them get away. And Obi-Wan discovers Quinlan Voss's writing. And so this is really cool because it's showing that Quinlan Voss is around. He's still alive at this time because Tala says that he helps these individuals every now and then. So could we get a possibility of Quinlan Voss in the episodes to come? There's a lot of theories that he could be the one, that O'Shea Jackson, who is the son of Ice Cube, is scheduled to play on Obi Wan Kenobi, but no one knows what his role is. And the rumor has it that he could be the one that plays Quinlan Voss. So how cool would that be? I don't know if it's true or not. But also, too, now there was a missed opportunity in my mind here when Leia and Obi-Wan go on the ship, and all you hear Obi-Wan say is, hello. I mean, come on, man. Hello there.
Hello there. Hello there.
Yes. And we want to welcome to the chat Avella. How are you doing? I have to continue sleeping, but I wanted to say hello and drop a like. So thank you so much. And go support her channel. She's has some good content out there. So give her some love. Go subscribe to her channel. So they're in the hideout. They have to speed up their getaway because the Imperial probes came in, and they have to, which forces them to try to leave earlier. Now, going back to what Obi-Wan discovered on Quinlan Voss's writings, he says, only when the eyes are closed, you can truly see. And so hopefully Obi-Wan can put those words to heart, and hopefully he can apply that to him in trying to get his Force abilities back, because so far he has not been able to. He's been struggling with it. He struggled to catch Leia when she fell in part 2. So he's still struggling, but we can still see that he has Force abilities as the show progresses. In fact, they're getting ready to leave to go, and all of a sudden, Obi-Wan, almost like he collapses, like a disturbance in the Force. He feels the presence. And this is a nice little callback to Star Wars. After Alderaan was destroyed, next thing you can see is Obi-Wan kneeling over, about ready to, like he was passing out. And when he said that there's a disturbance in the Force, and so Obi-Wan is feeling that as well. So he feels that presence, which, of course, it's Vader and the Inquisitors. They are all showing up. Yes. Now Obi-Wan is trying to see what Anakin looks like, because last time he saw him, he was a burnt crisp on Mustafar after their lightsaber duel. But he sees Vader walking through the streets, and this is the Vader that we know, that people are fearful of. We saw it in Rogue One, in that hallway scene at the end of the movie, and we just see him. He's going through, pulling people out of the windows, using the force choking a family. He's got the father up in the air. His son comes out to try to stop him, but Darth Vader swings by, force chokes him, uses the Force, breaks his neck, grabs the mother, chokes her, and just starts dragging her as he's walking along. So he is he is imposing his will on people, and he is imposing fear on the townfolk. So Obi-Wan has to try to divert the attention away. So he sends Tala to take Leia to meet the pilot, so that she can help her get away. And Tala makes an interesting comment about Leia, because Leia says, "I want to learn how to shoot," and Obi-Wan's like, "No, you don't." And she says she'll make a good fighter one day. And how true that was. We see what kind of a fearless fighter Princess Leia is. Yes. So Obi-Wan's trying to get a diversion sent to lure our Darth Vader away. Now, finally, they meet. Obi-Wan finally sees what Vader really looks like. He's just his whole full body suit. He's towering. I mean, it takes him aback, obviously. And he says, "What have you become?" And Vader replies, "I am what you made me." Yes, Vader is pinning his blame on Obi Wan Kenobi. But now we see Reva is also trying to make tracks. She's trying to make her way into the. Let's see. She is trying to make her way to find Leia. So she's using the Force. She's trying to figure out where they are. And so we see a little going back and forth sequence here between the sequence here between Obi-Wan and Vader, and then the sequence happening with Reva trying to sense Leia's presence to try to find her. Finally, we see Obi-Wan light his lightsaber, and then Vader jumps him, and he's outmaneuvering him. He's definitely taking Obi-Wan to school. He's showing him how powerful he has become. And then he says, "You are too weak. These years have made you weak," is what he said. And so it's kind of and it's what we also see in A New Hope with when they meet on the Death Star, when he says, "Your powers are weak, old man." So we see the lightsaber duel here. We see Tala tell Leia that she to go meet up with a pilot, and and Leia says, "Go get him." So that's what she does. So we're seeing this one-sided lightsaber duel with Vader and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan can't even. Yeah, his skills are gone. Let's just say that his skills are totally gone. Now Reva sees the Jedi writings inside the hideaway, and so she's looking at the writings. She's trying to sense where they could possibly be. Something angers her. You could just see the anger in her face when she sees these writings. It could, who knows what that her backstory is. We'll have to find out. So now, as they're fighting, they get to this point where Vader drops these crystals at this mining town, and he takes his lightsaber, he puts it on the ground, causes the fire, lifts up Obi Wan Kenobi, force chokes him, and pulls him into the fire to burn. And so he's saying, "Your pain has just begun." And now, for me, when I saw that, and that to me was an equivalent to Cobra Kai or Karate Kid 3 in the tournament when Terry Silver told Daniel LaRusso, "Now the real pain begins, Danny boy." I wish I had that clip. I missed that. I missed uploading that, and that's my fault. So he tells the troopers to go get him. Go get Obi-Wan, because he doesn't want to kill Obi-Wan. He wants to take him hostage. He wants to go get him, but Tala is there. She shoots up the stormtroopers. She reignites that fire. The droid Nedby goes and gets Ben, and while all this is really developing, Vader's just standing there. He's not doing anything. He's not going to get him. He's not walking through the fire. We know he can. He can walk through the lava lakes on Mustafar. He can use the Force to put out the fire. He could Force choke Tala. He could Force crush the droid that was trying to rescue Obi-Wan. And yet Vader just stands there. And so that's where a lot of people, I understand, they had a problem. It was,
we have a problem.
Yeah. So a lot of people feel that way. And so I had some mixed thoughts on this, because to me, it just wasn't not Vader-like, okay? because that, especially after we saw him go through the streets, wreaking havoc on the villagers there, and he just lets Obi-Wan get away. I thought he wanted Obi-Wan to captured. So I really did have a somewhat of a problem with that. So then we see Reva at Leia get to meet the pilot, but of course there's Reva. Reva just killed the guy who was supposed to guide them to wherever they were supposed to go. And so that's basically where it ends. So again, it was a great show up until that problem, or up until that time, And again, they're making Obi-Wan. I don't know. Obi-Wan's got to get his Force abilities back soon, because this is, to me, it's just dragging on too long. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. It's just, I'm hoping that we can get Obi-Wan that we knew from New Hope. It's got to be. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for him to have this his Force abilities back this week, I just, like I said, we're halfway through these episodes. We need a lot of clarity, and they only have 3 episodes to go. So I don't know. I feel they're missing. I feel they're missing some opportunities here. I feel that they have the ball on the tee, but they're just not connecting with the bat. So, what do you guys think? I mean, are you guys impressed with what you see with Obi-Wan Kenobi so far? Now, this show, I have to admit, it was better than the second part. Part 1 still is the best. Okay, it's just part 1 was, I don't know if they're ever going to top that. I hope they top it in the next 3 episodes to come, because they really need to knock this out of the park, in my opinion. So let me know in the comments what you guys think could be how would you rate this episode? For me, because of that missed opportunity at the end when Vader let Obi-Wan get away, I give that a 7, which is still an improvement from last week's episode, which I gave it a 6. My first episode was a 9. Episode 2 was a 6. This episode was a 7, and it could have been better. It could have been an 8 or even a 9 if Vader had not just stood there and watched. That's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Well, I want to say thank you for those of you who stayed here and watched this in the chat. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Go follow me on my Discord. Links are in my profiles. I'm also on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. So thank you for joining me. For those of you who did, some of you popped in and some of you popped out. That was fine. I was hoping to get some people on, but that's okay. It happens. I understand people have lives. But let's try this again. We will do this next week. I will break down part 4. I will give my thoughts. If you guys couldn't have made it this week, there's always next Friday. I'm going to do this each Friday night for the rest of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So make a mental note of that. If you want to get notified, hit the notification bell, subscribe to my channel. I'm the Cobra Disney Jedi, and I'm saying, when life gets you down, always get back up, flip the script, and go seek adventure.